Hey guys, I'm here for the First Pockets podcast with George Strimmer from the George Strimmer Band. How was the ride down?
Fantastic, actually.
Yeah, too easy. Look, I'll be honest, as a bassist myself, I do
Yep.
have one question that I wanted to start with.
Yep.
Why on earth did you pick the least popular instrument?
Played guitar all my life, actually, up until
Yeah.
3 years ago. Well, actually, when COVID happened.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I decided I was going to chop down to a four-piece.
Yeah.
And I thought I'll have a crack at bass.
Yeah, too
and
easy.
that's how it all started.
Yeah, cool. So George has been in the game for about 40 years, quite a long time. He's seen the evolution of music. So I wanted to get your perspective. I'm sure you got some awesome stories to tell. You've seen the evolution of how things have gone in music. And tell me about the beginning. We were talking a little bit earlier. You come from a family of musicians.
Yep.
So I assume that's how everything started. That was your first influence. So yeah, talk me through that.
Well, we go back to probably 81.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
Yeah.
earlier than that, probably when I was about 12.
Yeah.
I started playing drums. My uncle was teaching me drums, and then a good friend of mine, Manny Perez, Manuel Perez, that's ex-Louie and the Party Boys, the ultimate musician.
Yeah.
His uncle was a famous drummer, and I was getting lessons from him, but
For sure.
I really didn't want to do the theory side of things. So I just wanted to, just crack away.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'd give the drums away when I was 21, but in the meantime, Uncle played guitar in the ABC show band. And,
Yeah, sick.
Auntie played piano. Another uncle, being Italian, everyone played an instrument.
Yeah,
So,
of course.
piano accordion
Yeah.
came into it. My dad was a singer, or still is a singer, at 92 years old, and plays
Yeah.
mouth organ. So
Yeah.
I sort of treated myself to every instrument. So I became a jack of all trades, absolute master of none.
Yeah.
I never say that I'm the consummate musician because I'm far from it. I just do what I do and hopefully get away with it, yeah.
Absolutely. So as your Northern Star, I guess, in the industry, just been passion, right? You've been surrounded by people who are so passionate, and that's sort of what's brought you here.
Yep.
I have to know, who was like your top 3 artists, or who was the one artist where you're like, that is what I want to do, who you were incredibly inspired by?
My ultimate hero is Dale Ryder.
Yep.
Boom Crash Opera.
Yeah.
I started roadieing from 1981 to about 1980, late 83
Wow,
into
okay.
84.
Yeah.
And I was working with a band called The Gangsters back then. So
Oh,
the scene
cool.
was massive
Yeah.
back then. Captain Spaulding was the ultimate cover band.
Yeah. Yep.
Poor old Tommy. Love Tommy. And then I worked with this band called The Gangsters, and the lead singer, Billy Moore, became my best mate, and his brother, Richard Moore. So I toured all around Australia with these guys. And then went along to see a band called Survival,
Okay.
which is 2 parts of Boom Crash Opera.
Cool.
And they were just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And Dale had got me up to sing with him at Flight Deck at Essendon Airport.
Yeah.
And I had the biggest thrill of my life.
Yeah,
And I thought,
fantastic.
I want to be a singer.
Yeah, yeah.
And so he encouraged me to keep doing that.
For
And
sure.
so did Billy Moore from The Gangsters. And then went on to work with a whole heap of bands. Through the 80s, the cover band scene was massive.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
you could drive from, at the time I was living in Coolaroo in Broadmeadows. So
Yeah.
the minute you drove up Sydney Road, every pub from the Post Office Hotel in Coburg right through to Beaumaris,
Yeah.
and you recognise trucks.
Yeah.
Everybody had a truck. Everyone had roadies.
Yep.
Like 2 or 3 roadies. So for argument's sake, you'd see Captain Spaulding's truck had a Roadrunner on the Lucan Peak on the top. So
Yeah.
you know, oh yeah, Tommy's playing here tonight. So go along and see Tommy. And obviously I knew all the other bands, but it was just so good in the 80s.
of
It was
course.
just ridiculous. Crowds were everywhere. Free entries you didn't pay anywhere.
Yeah.
And it was 7 nights a week.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So just constant. Yeah. Always
Yeah.
had work to do. Always something to do.
And so then I was actually at a party, if you want to know the whole story.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Let's get into it.
I was at a party in Sunbury at a good mate's place.
Yeah, it's easy.
And the singer, current singer now, Steve Terry, in my band, or our band, he came along with his good friend, Mick O'Neill, who was a
Yeah.
drummer. They already started a band called The Trimmers.
Cool.
So this was 84.
Yep.
And he said, would you like to join a band? I said, yeah, doing what?
Yeah.
I was actually playing guitar that
Yeah,
day, just
okay.
singing solo stuff.
Yeah, yep.
And I said, yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah.
So those guys had already been a year into rehearsals, rehearsing at the bass player's house, or the drummers, I can't remember now, it's too long ago. So we had our very first gig. It was
Yeah.
a mate of ours' 30th, 20th, I don't know, whatever birthday
Yeah,
it was.
yeah,
Again,
yeah.
I can't remember, but we killed it.
Yeah,
We
sick.
hired this massive PA system, and everyone that knows me knows that I love my PA systems.
Yep.
I'm a PA nut. Thanks, Will. And
Will's our sound guy, by the way.
yes, Will Pets. So yeah, we took in this monster PA system and got a great crowd. And then about 3 weeks later, because I'd worked with the Gangsters and Survival
Yeah.
and Lee Walker Band and Gimmicks and all these bands.
Had a bit of a
The
resume
older
going.
people will
Yeah.
know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Aussie Mayo was another great band. I got involved with a man named John Gould,
Yeah.
who worked for Tasman Talent.
Cool.
They were the premier agency of the 80s.
Yeah.
Then came, Rockbusters and Uptempo Entertainment,
Mm-hmm.
Westside Talent, all these other agencies, Premier Harbour. We organised a gig in North Melbourne, our very first gig,
Absolutely.
and we absolutely got the biggest crowd you've ever seen in your life.
Really?
Yeah.
And that was like one of your earlier gigs.
First gig ever.
No
As
way.
in first pub gig. First
Yeah.
pub gig.
Yeah.
So we thought, wow, we're rock stars. We've made it.
Yeah.
But Jim was the guy's name, the manager.
Yeah.
He said, I want yous back. I got to get yous back.
Yeah.
So we went back, whatever it was, a month or two later, and we had 6 people.
Oh no.
That was
So,
that was
up
bar
and down.
staff.
Yeah. Yep.
But in the meantime,
Paid
we'd-
practice, that one.
Well, yeah. But in the meantime, we'd impressed all the agencies.
Yeah.
So they all jumped on board. So
Oh, cool.
we started playing at a flight deck at the Essendon Airport in 1985.
Yeah.
And I'd left in 88. I
Yeah.
actually left the band, but the boys continued on. And they were there for, I think they left in 92 or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they went on to bigger and better things, the Trimmers back then. And I'd started my own band called The Shakers,
Yeah. Cool.
which became a 10-piece band. My sister
Oh,
was
wow.
singing. I had 4 horn players,
Fantastic.
keyboard player, guitarist, drummer, bass player. I was playing guitar as well. And we were just nuts. We were doing
Yeah.
5 to 7 nights a week, sometimes doubling up, doing 8.
Yeah.
You double up on a Saturday, you do an afternoon gig and then a night show.
Wow.
That was hard. That was
Yeah, it
very
would've
hard.
been.
And I can't remember how many years I did that for, but it was successful. And then I went back, as I said to you earlier,
Yeah.
I'd got asked to fill in for the Trimmers again
Yes.
for my good mates Rod and Jack and Claude and all the rest of the boys. And I said, yeah, I'll do it for a little bit. And then
Yeah.
I ended up staying for 3 years or something. And then,
That's once you catch it, you just can't get rid of it.
well, yeah, it's funny. It's funny
Yeah.
how it works. But I retired again. So that was like my second retirement.
Yeah.
And then Steve had asked me, do I want to do a band, a new band? And I said, what's it called? He goes, we'll call it Yesterday's Heroes. And that was wearing lycra pants and lycra shirts or leather
whole
pants,
outfit,
lycra makeup,
Yeah.
the whole lot. It was
Yeah.
we were Yesterday's Heroes. We were inspired by a band called the Melody Lords back
Okay.
then.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
were a
yeah.
phenomenon.
Yeah.
Unbelievable guys.
Yeah.
All actors and teachers.
Oh,
and
the
everything.
showmanship of that must have been absolutely
Incredible.
bonkers.
They were
yeah.
next level. Just when you thought you'd seen the ultimate band, you step in and you see these guys.
The
and,
next level.
they had weird names, like the keyboard player, his name was Throbbing Glitterous. The singer was named Stevie Blissbomb. The drummer was Amco V-Knees.
Yeah.
And I actually can't think of the guitarist.
Oh, that's all good.
The bass player. But anyway, they were unreal. And we thought, we want to do that.
Yeah.
And we tried to buy the rights, actually, because they'd
Oh,
finished
no way.
a couple of years later.
Yeah.
But our very first gig was at the National Institute of Sport in Canberra.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Like a
yeah.
7,000-seat arena.
Yeah.
And we absolutely panicked.
No,
Like,
yeah,
it
of
was
course.
ridiculous. Like,
Of course.
we actually got to see what it was like to be in a rock star life.
Yeah.
To do what all these major bands
No
have done,
way,
like to
yeah,
get
yeah.
limoed, from your house to the airport, get picked up from the airport, limoed to
So you
your
lived that
hotel.
life, you really
Yeah,
did,
we all had
yeah.
our own rooms. We get to the Institute of Sport and, you got your name on the dressing room and
Yeah.
it was just ridiculous. And I
Yeah.
said to Steve, I go, mate, I am panicking right
Yeah.
now. And I started sweating and, I got goosebumps talking about it. My
Yeah.
hairs have stood up. But I thought, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
But it didn't last. So Yesterday's Heroes lasted for quite a few years, and then Steve and I went on to do other things, and then I decided I went back to the Trimmers again. I did a stint with those boys, and then did a stint with a band called Plato, who was unbelievable, great band, Stevie Horton. And then I started the George Trimmer Band 8 years ago.
Yep.
Minus Steve, I was the singer. I did that for a few years singing, and then I brought in a girl named Natalie James,
Yeah,
who took us
fantastic.
to another level.
Yeah.
But I had a legend on guitar, Joey Amenta. Everyone knows Joey Amenta. And another guy, Chris Smith, on bass, who's another legend. Obviously, Punch, still
Yeah,
my drummer to
of
this
course.
day.
Yeah,
he was
yeah,
there.
yep.
But when COVID happened, as I said, there was no way known we were coming out of it quick.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't going to make any money. I had to make a decision right there and then, and unfortunately, I had to let Natalie and Chris go, and
Yeah.
I jumped onto the bass duties, which,
Yeah.
you know, I've got a long way to go
course.
on bass. I'm happy to admit I'm
Yeah.
not a bass player. I'm actually not a guitarist. I'm actually a singer trying to play both instruments, but
You're doing a good job.
wow, you know.
You was
thank you.
played at Pockets not too long ago, and at the
Awesome.
Tullamarine venue, and it's a pretty busy night. You clearly know you've done something right. People are coming to come watch you. So
Yeah, I don't look. The formula. People ask me what the formula is, and I think my advice. Not that I'm an expert, so I never claim to be an expert, but I think if you've got a formula, if you've got 4 guys that all get along, and everyone knows their bits, it's so easy. Like
Yeah.
we get to rehearsal. We rehearse at my house.
Yeah.
I built a studio a couple of years ago, and it just happens.
I'm fascinated by
Magic
that.
happens.
Yeah,
Like
fascinating.
harmonies and
Yeah.
stuff like that. We all know, like Simon Larish is the guitarist.
Yeah.
Anthony Punchatore, or Punch, drummer. Steve Terry, vocals. So if Steve's singing a song, I already know I'm taking a 5th or a 3rd.
Yeah.
Is in harmony wise.
Yeah,
Simon
yeah,
knows
yeah.
the same. So if we go to do the same harmony, one of us will switch instantly. Simon's got a great ear.
Absolutely.
A great ear. And Punch is singing more and more now. He's got a great ear. So
Fantastic.
and for me, Steve's like the consummate front man.
Yeah.
He does his job and he loves it. And, you know, he's also general manager for Australian Entertainment Services. So not that benefits us. I don't ask him to book us gigs. We get gigs through the agency, but that's what we've done all our life. I've been with him for 38 years or something. So it's just a formula. That's all it
Yeah.
is. But if you don't have that formula, because it doesn't matter.
So what specifically is the formula? Because you've mentioned it's important to have a formula and
Yeah.
sort of have, like I said before, Northern Star. Like this is our values and this is how we're going to behave as a band. This is what we value most as artists, right? That's
Yeah.
what we are. Well, that's what you are. I'm not quite there yet. So what is that formula for you in terms of cultivating a good energy for you to be creative and for you to hold a good team together? Because it's a lot like sports, like
Yeah.
coming from basketball and a boxing background. Sporting team management is one of the most fascinating things to me, especially from a coaching end. You're
Yeah.
dealing with a bunch of ego, you're dealing with a lot of different perspectives in life. So how do you guys maintain that close friendship and that want to be creative? Is there,
That's a great question.
yeah,
Look, I'm a hard nut.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that.
yeah,
And I annoy people.
yep, me too.
No, because the thing is, if something's, you know, when I was talking to Will earlier about production, it's my passion. Production is my passion, along with playing music.
Of course.
But I'm getting a lot of thrill out of mixing other bands. So you become a bit of a hard nut, and sometimes things come out, which I just explained to the boys earlier in the week, because again, I had to apologise for my nastiness, and I apologise to most people that I annoy at times, but it just comes out. It's the passion.
Of course.
So sometimes you say things you don't really mean. They come out in a different way. That's why I hate text messages, because
Oh, me too.
depending on your mood,
Just call me.
If you're having a terrible day,
Yeah.
you read something completely different.
100%.
And it happens in the band. Like, you know,
really?
I'm a stonemason by day. I build headstones. That's what I do. I've
Yeah.
been doing it for 25 years.
Fantastic.
So you got the pressures of that, the pressures of doing a gig or
course.
production, but it's everything leading up to it, from taking the bookings to organising rehearsals, to organising songs, to writing sets, to loading tracks, organising everything else in between. It becomes a lot, and my band understands it. You know, I know they know I'm a pain in the ass, but they accept me as a pain in the ass.
Of course.
And most people do, because
Yeah.
I've had it all my life. You know, he's a pain in the ass. I am a pain in the ass. I admit it.
I love that
But
you
I
own
try
it.
to
That's
be-
fantastic.
But I try to be a nice guy. If
Yeah,
anyone
absolutely.
needs anything, I'm there.
Yeah,
Just, you got to know your limitations.
100%.
And getting back to, sort of straight off the question, but
That's okay.
to have that camaraderie in
Yes.
the band, we've had it since the Trimmers, since
Yeah.
1985.
Yeah.
We've always had it. And it's probably me and Steve, because he's my best mate. And the
Oh, that
singer.
makes things easier.
Very easy. So
Yeah.
I rely on him for decision-based things, for whatever's got to be done. Because he, being a booking agent that he is,
Yeah.
he knows how to talk. Me, I come from Broadmeadows.
Yeah.
I just want to swear and carry on.
Feel free to.
No, I'm not going to swear.
No. Please feel free
No,
to.
no. I was just going to say to you before with the boxing, I'm not taking you on.
I'm not
know
a fighter
you gotta
anymore.
know your limitations.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, so I will always ask Steve, listen, how do I approach this, and this?
Oh wow! So
And
you
he
guys
gives me
like go to
always-
each other for advice and
you know,
different.
always ring Punch the drummer or Simon. You know, you got a question you want to ask,
Yeah,
or you want
beautiful.
for whatever, because you can't store everything in the noggin.
Mm.
And as I said to you before, I don't mind telling everybody I'm 63 years old, nudging 64. I still love it. And while I can continue to do it, I'm going to do it. I don't care if I'm 70 years old. Hopefully I'll still be able to walk and my hips are not gone. But
Run it till the wheels fall off, man.
yeah,
That's the
so
way.
look, again, to have that, what we have, not only on stage, but in rehearsal,
Yeah.
it just doesn't happen. It doesn't
Yeah.
come like that.
Absolutely.
It's something
You
either
build
got-
over time, right?
Well, you actually, I don't even think you can build it, to be honest, AJ.
Really?
I think it's got to happen straight away or it doesn't happen.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you guys just clicked upon
Straight away.
first meeting.
Yeah.
That's great. Talk to me about the first time you guys met each other. Do you, if you know, it was a bit of a while ago.
Yeah.
If you can remember, you're like, that guy is different. I want to be around that these type of people. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do actually.
Oh,
yeah.
sick.
Well, going back to when Steve and Mick approached me to join the band, I remember going to the first rehearsal, and
Yeah.
actually, the guitarist's name was Claude Malagoli,
Yeah,
great
yeah.
guitarist. He wasn't happy that I came in playing guitar, and for the musicians out there, I've got to explain. Claude was using this beautiful guitar that he had and a beautiful Mesa Boogie amp. Me, I walked in with this amp, like a 20-watt thing. It was called a Canora or something. I
Yeah.
can't remember. Claude ended up putting a texter through it because he didn't like looking at it. And I don't even know what guitar I had, but it was horrible. My
Yeah.
guitar sound was horrible. Everything was horrible, but I was keen as mustard.
Yeah.
Because when I heard them, they obviously did a song before I said yes to it.
Yeah.
And their harmonies were impeccable.
Yeah.
Like the four of them were singing
Yeah.
like crazy. And they were all great musicians. And I picked up my guitar. I didn't know what to do because I'd come from just playing acoustic, not knowing much. But Claude sort of nurtured me through the years and,
Oh,
you know,
beautiful.
always used to write chords down for
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
I wish somebody would do that for me now because I'm hopeless learning songs. But
I hate music
He
theory.
babied me
Yeah.
right through the whole thing.
Yeah.
But, look, they had everything down. They had what we've got. That formula, they had it.
Wow. Okay.
And they're all still friends today.
Yeah.
Everyone still talks. We're all in our 60s.
Yep.
And everyone still talks. Well, I don't talk to two of the guys. Unfortunately, stuff happens.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter about that.
Yeah,
But,
of course, of course.
Yeah, so you just have it or
Yeah.
you don't. And you
Cool.
see, you know, through the years that I've been doing this, you see a lot of great bands out there and they just do what we do. And you see a lot of other bands out there that are great as well, but they don't have, you can tell it doesn't happen.
They don't have the that
Yeah.
factor that just
You-
makes you guys.
As a musician,
close.
you see it.
yeah.
You don't necessarily ask questions, you just see it. And people say to us all the time, you know, what do you talk about? Like if we were here, and obviously the band room's over there,
Yeah.
I don't think I actually talked to the guys when I got here to set up,
Yeah.
maybe set a low or something.
Yeah.
I did my own thing, and then the night we were ready to go on, it was like 5 minutes beforehand. I think I just said to the guys, we're on in 5. And then we went on. We
Yeah,
were
and,
out
the, and
talking to
chemistry
audience.
syncs up already.
Yeah, so it's not like we talk about what we're going to do. We don't go over a song. We already learnt it the Thursday night before or 2 weeks before. You just go and do it. And sometimes they're fizzes. Like we were trying to work it out the other day. We've probably learnt maybe 40 songs, 50 songs this year.
Yeah.
And probably only 10 of them have made the cut.
Really?
Because you think they sound good at rehearsal, or we try and have this thing where if you can sing to it and dance to it, let's do it. That's it.
Is that the formula?
Yeah.
For finding the songs, right?
Because
yeah.
look, the thing is you can become very self-indulgent. And I said to you before, my favourite 2 bands in Australia is Boom Crash Opera and Pseudo Echo. I just love my Aussie acts, homegrown. And then you said to me you like Metallica and stuff like that. I don't get into Metallica.
Yeah.
I love Van Halen. That's
Yeah.
about as far as I'll go with that.
The heavier side.
You know,
yeah.
and people talk to me about all these musicians. I wouldn't have a clue who they're talking about. I couldn't tell you one person in Metallica.
Oh, okay.
No
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
I can tell you Eddie Van Halen.
Yep.
That's about all I can tell
That's
you.
about
And
it.
Alex.
Yeah.
So I forgot. I lost my train of thought now. Yeah. So when you're doing all these songs, you'll play them live, and the crowd don't dance to it.
Yeah. Just a different energy, right?
Yeah. So it's got to go.
Yeah.
So picking songs is very hard, and we try and do a lot of Aussie songs. That's
Yeah.
my fault.
Yeah.
We should be doing more international songs,
Yeah.
but I don't know, it just happens. We
I
just
was-
go bang.
I had a look at your website. You guys take like requests a couple of weeks in advance and stuff.
Yeah, we do all that.
And that's one thing I was super curious about. We've seen a lot of cover bands go in and out of pockets at both venues.
Yeah.
And one thing that's really interesting to me is the process behind choosing what song you're going to do and what song you're not going to do. So you mentioned, those three things. Can you sing to it? Can you dance to it? And how does the crowd respond?
That's right.
When do you know that this song needs to go? Is it just
Straight away.
Straight away, you can just feel it. You're
Yeah,
like,
the boys want to kill me because
Yeah.
they've got to learn the songs. So
Yeah.
let's just say I call a rehearsal and it's in 3 weeks' time, and I say we're doing 6 songs,
Yeah.
which they hate. I hate it too because I said I'm horrible learning songs. But we'll get to rehearsal, we'll sit down, we'll start doing the song, and we go, yeah, that sounds pretty good. That's ready to go. So you tick it off. Then you go to the next song, and you come here and you go to perform it live, and you look at the audience, you're thinking they're going to love this.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you start playing it and you've lost the audience.
Yep.
So, people always go on about Jesse's Girl. I'll tell you the songs that all cover bands hate doing,
Yeah.
but they do them. So
I love that. Yeah.
Jesse's Girl,
Jesse's Girl.
Run to Paradise are the two main ones. K-San,
Yep.
sorry for all the Cold Chisel fans. There's quite a few of them, Footloose, Centerfold,
Yeah,
all
of
these
course.
songs. We all hate doing them.
Yeah.
What the audience needs to understand is we hate playing them. Me personally, I've been playing them for 40 years.
Yeah.
I don't want to play them.
Yeah.
But if an audience member asks for them, I'm going to do them. I'm here to
course.
please the audience.
Absolutely.
I'm not here to please
You're
the
a performer
band.
at the end of the day.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I don't
yeah.
want to do it, but we
course.
do it. So picking songs like they're the ultimate classic songs, and trying to find the classic song that suits your band. So to suit us, because again, I'll go back to saying the truth of the matter. I'm not a bass player. It's very hard for me to learn particular songs. So I try and stick within my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And that's probably what, when you said before about the musicianship, I can't step outside that comfort zone. I've tried it. We tried last week to do a rehearsal with a couple of songs that just didn't suit my playing. So rather than us looking like fools, get rid of it.
Yeah.
Let's call another rehearsal. So
100%.
we've got rehearsals picked for next week. So because we're doing so many gigs, we're so busy, we need to churn our songs over because otherwise we become stale.
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Of course.
So that's what
Mix
happens.
the set list up. You have to.
Always.
You mentioned earlier that one of your first performances, you got a bunch of people in at a pub.
Yeah.
Do you remember roughly what the number was?
Well over 200 in the pub that it was in.
Yeah, cool.
It was called. I just had it. I've just forgotten.
It's all good. So you had about 200 people at one of your first performances, and then next performance you had just
Six.
six
The bar
people,
staff.
the bar staff.
Yeah.
Then after that, a little bit down the track, you had a stadium gig.
Yeah. No. After that, I approached Flight Deck at the Essendon Airport. Was the biggest gig in the northern suburbs.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Held
yeah.
1,300 people maximum.
Wow. Yeah.
And the very first night we went in there, we played to probably 100 people
Yeah.
at a really, really cheap price.
Yeah.
And then I'd said to Peter and I can't think of Gary, I think it was, that owned Flight Deck, because this was a place to go to. There was a band called Bluestone used to play there every Sunday night, and they used to pack the joint out. And I said, give us another go. Well, so we started going nuts, and I think it was MySpace or something back
Yeah,
then. There was no
yeah.
Facebook, no Instagram, no TikTok, nothing.
Yep,
It was,
nothing.
I think, just MySpace.
MySpace.
And it was Melbourne Rock Posters, which still exists. So Steve and I would go out, we'd buy the posters, used to
Yeah.
cost us like $500, which was a lot of money
Yeah.
40 years ago. And we're putting these monster posters that you still see under the bridges now.
Yeah.
So we were doing them ourselves with the glue and
The
everything.
roller and yeah.
And lo and behold, we end up getting like 500 people on the second night.
Awesome.
So we got a pay rise.
Yeah.
And then we said to him, right, he said to us, you can stay now.
Yeah.
So we were consistently, back in 85, getting like 1,100 people
Wow.
every Saturday night.
Yeah.
And then we moved to the Brickmakers Arms,
Yep.
which was down the road. That was busy as, and then we moved from there to Mooney Ponds Tavern. So we always stayed in the northern suburbs, but then, North Melbourne Social Club, Beaumaris Hotel. And then we were just travelling all around country Victoria because you were doing 3 or 4 nights a week in Melbourne. You wanted to get out.
Yeah.
These days, we don't want to go out, apart from Mulwala Ski Club and,
Yeah.
Aussie Hotel Shepparton, we don't want to go anywhere else.
Of course.
We're done.
Yeah.
We're all tired.
Yeah, you've earned a bit of a break. But no, one thing that I was really curious on is you mentioned you were panicking a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, we've all been there. It's a big show, big performance, big
Yeah.
sporting event, and you're there. You start getting the sweats, your heart starts
Yeah.
racing. I've definitely been there. What's your process with controlling that? I'm fascinated by how people deal with that pressure. What was your process? What did you do to deal
Well,
with
truth
that?
be known, if you've ever worn Lycra before, it's very hot. And the stage
Yeah.
was absolutely huge with lighting I'd never seen before.
Yeah.
And you're looking out and there's like 7,000 people in the audience. And it was a
Oh,
toga party,
wow.
by the way.
Of course it was.
Yeah, no, unbelievable. And if you've ever worn leather pants with Lycra, you're boiling hot. And I remember, funny thing is, I was busting to go to the toilet. So
Oh, no.
I thought I'll hang on
Yeah.
till the first set. And as I walked out, I'm thinking, no, I can't. So I quickly ran back. I said, oh, hold off.
Yeah.
And then Steve, he said he wasn't nervous, but he tripped over one of the monitors.
No way.
Yeah, fell over, smacked his head straight on the ground. But
Poor
but a
bugger.
trooper, he got back up and
Yeah.
started the song. And I think after probably about 2 minutes into the first song, I thought, yeah, I'm in my comfort zone.
Flow state, yeah?
But you were trying to take everything in. And like I said before, if this is what it was like to be a rock star, I call it a rock star because that's what these bands like Boom Crash Opera and Pseudo Echo and all the rest of them, you know, John Farnham's my ultimate hero. I love the guy, absolutely love the guy, and you know, devastated with John, but which I got to work with and spend a lot of time with. Actually, was great. Yeah, I thought this is what I want to do, but we came back to reality. Once we left Canberra and got back to Melbourne, it was back to doing what we do in all the regular venues and
The pubs
you know,
and-
So, but I've loved every minute of it. The ride's been awesome. I hope the ride keeps going.
Yeah, definitely.
know,
So it's like you get on stage, it's not, it switches off straight away. It's just you start to find the groove with the rhythm of the music and you enter that flow state, which is.
It's like getting home.
Yeah.
When you finished a gig, you know, a lot of people, audience members can go home, they've had a few drinks and they'll just go straight to bed. Most of the musicians I reckon I can speak for will get home at 2 or 3 a.m. and we're still awake at 5.
Yeah.
Because it's that unwinding thing. And then you're thinking about your gig. You think, oh, Jesus, that song didn't go too well.
Yeah.
Or, oh, God, I played, well, me, I did a lot of
You
mistakes.
just start over-analysing every aspect.
I think of all the mistakes. Matter of fact, Simon, my guitarist, I hope he's going to be watching, congratulated me on Sunday at the Pasco Vale Hotel because I actually got through one of his songs that we've been doing for 3 years now without a mistake.
No way.
And he acknowledged that, Simon, I told you I'd do it one of these days.
I love the competitiveness. You just can't get rid of it.
Well, I make mistakes all the time.
Yeah, of
I
course.
put my hand up straight away. Oh, I'm the mistake king.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying, you know.
That's all you can do. Yeah, no, that's fascinating.
But yeah, look, again, it's been a great journey and one that I hope keeps going as long as I can keep it going
100%.
for. You know, the day that my passion is gone, that's the day I call it quits.
Yeah. And do you find that it gives you a lot of purpose into life to keep going? Because I know a lot of people, they do something for so long, they get bored with it and they lose the love for it. Would you say like one of the biggest things that gets you out of bed is that you got music as your purpose?
Probably not one of the biggest. I mean, I think about it every day.
Of course.
Because I get told to relax by the band, chill. And again, you know, running my my company during the day, you know, there's a lot of pressure doing that because, like I said before, we build headstones for loved ones. It's a hard process dealing with people that are grieving.
Of course.
And I went through it with my mum a couple of years ago, losing
Sorry
my
to
mum,
hear
so
that.
that was terrible.
Yeah.
And I become the world's biggest sook now. I'm happy to tell everybody I'm just shocked and I just break down at the drop of a hat. But to try and, it's a balancing act. So during the day to do that, to, you know, dealing with grieving people, I'm always getting phone calls every day for gigs, production, you know, all the bands wanting production. And then obviously, then I start, when I get home, then my mind starts going 100 miles an hour. I'm thinking of songs. I'm thinking, what songs are we going to do at Pockets tomorrow night? If I was here tomorrow night, I'm already thinking, what am I going to do? Because now that I've done the gig and I know the audience, I've got my mindset's right now. I know exactly what I'm going to be playing. And hopefully when we come back on October the 19th, I think we're back here.
I'll pop a poster up on the
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the 19th. But,
Yeah.
you know, hopefully we've got another dozen brand new songs by then.
Yeah,
Although
fantastic.
I'm going to Bali again. Everyone that knows I'm going to Bali. So it's my 5th trip this year.
Fifth trip.
Yeah,
Big
yeah.
fan?
Yeah, I love Bali. Love all the Balinese guys.
Yeah.
So, look, yeah, passion's still there.
Definitely.
And hopefully it stays there. It remains for a long time, to be honest, because I just love it. but it is a balancing act with everything, and family, of course. You know, I've got a wife and two girls.
Oh, fantastic.
My oldest bought her house and moved out last year. My youngest is still with me.
Yeah. Do they
So-
play anything?
No.
Ah.
No, I wanted them to be singers or do something, but no.
Speaking of singing, one thing I'm really curious on is I always wanted to sing, but I could never sing, never had the balls to.
Yeah.
That's sort of why I play guitar. It's like I want to make some sort of noise.
Yeah.
But I don't have the guts to get up stage and sing, or even just in my room. I like whistling at most. That's the most you'll ever get. I feel like I always ask singers this. There's like two types of singers. There's people that are just born with amazing vocal cords. They just have it. They hear a song, they just know how to sing. And there's
Yeah.
people that develop it, right?
Yeah.
They actually have to train the muscle as if they're in the gym. And you're developing the vocal cords, the ranges. What was your process in becoming a singer? Did you just know? Was it that background?
Again, going back to a musical family and my
Yeah.
dad singing, I was always singing. Whether I was singing in tune or out of key, I don't know. But obviously I was singing in tune for like Steve Terry and Mick O'Neill to approach me all those years ago. But I've never had a singing lesson in my life.
No way.
And I actually, a good friend of mine, Susan Marsden from a band called Yacht Rock Revival, amazing singer, and Jeff Wortman actually, have offered to give me singing lessons. And I'd booked in with Susan to have singing lessons because I have no idea how to sing. I just sing.
Wow.
I don't even know what I do. I
Yeah.
don't do anything from
Just sounds good.
the muscles.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I know my limitations.
Yeah.
I know, and being a smoker, which sucks, but I've lost like an octave in range in the last 3
really?
or 4. Yeah, I can't get where I used to be,
Cool.
and it's so annoying.
Yeah.
And to get off the cigarettes is a pain in the neck too. So
Yeah.
ideally, I want to go back to Susan,
Mm-hmm.
or I want to go to Susan and get some lessons because I went and watched her last Saturday night. Amazing vocalist,
Yeah.
and I've heard Jeff singing, who used to be in Yacht Rock Revival. He's now in a band called Disco Inferno. Unbelievable singer. I mean, I look up to these people. I go, wow, why can't I sing like that?
Yeah.
But there's techniques. I don't know them. You know, I got no falsetto range, if you know what that is.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I can't sing falsetto. Everything comes from my head.
Yeah.
I don't push anything from the diaphragm. I just get up here and do what I do.
Yeah.
And as soon as I've run out of steam,
Yeah.
I look at Steve and say, all right, I'm not singing anymore.
Yeah.
You'll quite often hear me on stage. I go, I'm done. It could be the 5th song.
Yeah.
I go, I'm done.
Yeah, that's it. So that's so cool though. Like even after all this time, you're like, hey, maybe I need a couple lessons here. You know, I love the humility.
Well,
behind
you're
that.
never too old.
Yeah,
As
of course.
Susan said to me, you're never too old for lessons, George. And I
Yeah.
said, yeah, well, I want to do it because
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to sing songs that are beyond me.
Yeah.
And I can't. I know I can't do them. And, you know, again, going back to the music side of things, if you're playing bass, you'll understand most players these days, or most bands, in the 80s, we're all tuning to what they call concert pitch, standard tuning,
E standard,
in other words.
yeah.
So most bands these days will tune to E flat. It's a semitone, but for vocals, it's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, instead of singing, you're singing,
Yeah.
and you can retain your vocals a lot longer, yeah?
Yeah, because it's all transposed, what,
Yeah.
half a step down, step
Half
down?
a step. So
yeah.
it helps all of us
Yeah.
to do it. And you actually get through a gig. It's
Yeah.
actually a lot easier. So if you're doing, like we had a run there a couple of months ago where we done Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It killed us. And then
Yeah.
like Christmas
Bloody hell.
last year, coming into silly season, all the corporate functions and everything we did,
of
like we were
course.
killing ourselves.
Yeah.
And poor old Steve, the singer's, you know, having to take all these vitamins and take all these things
Yeah.
to try and retain his vocals, same as me. It's a hard slog because if you
Definitely.
don't have your vocals, you might as well not bother.
Yeah, you need the vocals.
And the good thing about GTB is that we're all lead singers. So the drummer sings,
Yeah.
sings lead vocal,
Yeah.
the guitarist sings lead vocal, I sing lead vocal, and Steve's the lead vocalist. So we're pretty lucky.
You can
it's
sort of like sub each other out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sort of one of the bands that I dig at the moment, cover bands, is Tequila Brothers.
Yep.
Because you got Jen Ellis, who's unbelievable singer. She's probably one of my favourites. Michael Zammett sings fantastic. You got Dean Gretsch, great singer, and you've got Alex Ferrugia on drums, that is a lead singer as well. And
Yeah.
I'm sure that Gary and Frank can probably sing, but they don't need them. When you've got the vocal power they've
Yeah.
got, it's incredible.
Definitely.
So my hat off to those guys. They're incredible.
No, cool.
Great musicians.
We talked a little bit earlier about some of the things that helped you survive this long.
Yep.
Which was obviously knowing team chemistry and prioritizing that, and then obviously maintaining passion and a love for music. Like I can feel it when I talk to you. You really do live like music. You love it.
It's a passion.
We talked a little bit earlier about certain bands that maybe haven't lasted as long, and my favorite thing about talking to you so far is that you speak the truth. I love that. Like you're just direct.
That's actually my downfall. I've got to learn to shush.
I'd be doing that. I do that too. But I'm dying to know, what are like the one or two things you see bands do that cause them to fall off really quick or cause them to not maybe reach the levels that you have? You're like, this is the reason why you're not doing certain numbers. Is there one or two things that you always look out for, like, oh, they don't have X, Y, and Z?
Look, in this day and age, it's very tough. Again, we had a grouse in the 80s.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, you could go to, there'd be 50 venues, live music venues, and you'd see a live band. These days, especially coming, going through COVID and everything, like the scene was actually quite healthy. Leading up to COVID, the cover band scene, because everybody says the cover band scene will never be what it was, and it won't. But personally, I believe it's getting better and better.
Fantastic.
And, thanks to Pockets for a starter with two venues, two great venues, helping out the scene. Because without, people like Arthur and everybody and yourself, OJ, and everybody that's involved in Pockets, like I said this on stage at our first gig, this is as close to flight deck at the Essendon Airport as we'll ever get.
Yeah, fantastic.
Minus 700 people.
Yes.
So if we could go that way and stretch that out another 40 metres, it would be the new flight deck.
100%.
And that's what we had.
Yeah.
Most of those bands that I talked about got to play to 1,000 people every Saturday night and Friday nights.
Wow.
If we could get back to that, a lot of cover bands will last a lot longer. The problem is the scene now, this is me really speaking the truth now, and people will hate me for it. There's too many bands undercutting other bands. And I get it. I totally get it. I don't can them for it.
Undercutting in the sense of like stealing their shows? Or?
In a monetary sense.
Oh,
so
okay, yeah.
if you've got a band going out for X amount of dollars, and you've got another band going out for that X amount of dollars, and then you've got a band that sneaks in under here, the venue will take that band.
Of course.
Because they're not forking out as much money.
It's just the cheapest alternative,
Like for me, without having my head jammed firmly in my rear end, and I don't, I feel like 39 and a half years in the industry, and again, it's not about me. I'm surrounded by great musicians. That's not me. All this band does is carry my name. Unfortunately, it's been around for a long time. So the bands that, like us, we charge a certain fee. And we expect to get that. But if we don't get that, we're more than happy to stay home. And I'm lucky because I own my production company, which I'll give that a plug, GTB Production and Hire.
We'll throw up on
got to plug that one. Not that I need it, I'm flat out. But, and then there's other bands that just want to work. And this is the part where I said before, people will hate me, but you can't hate me for that reason. Because you're undercutting me, that's fine. And they're probably better than us. It's not about being better. For me, if you believe in your product, charge for your product. You got to play for what you're worth, personally. So this is just a figure, that's a nothing figure, I'm just making it up.
Absolutely.
But if you decide that morning, I'm going to go out and work at such and such place, we're not going to mention any names, and I want, myself personally, I want to earn $350 tonight. That's what I believe I'm worth. Don't go for 100 then, or go out for 80, because that's what people, or publicans, I should say, publicans will look. So if I played down the road, for argument's sake, there was a venue just down the road, and I went in there for this much money, because I don't want to talk dollars, that's not fair.
Yeah, of course.
And then, say Arthur comes and asks me to come and play at Pockets and says, and I tell him I want this, and he says, but you played down the road for that. Well, then he's right.
Yeah,
Why would I do that?
Of course.
That's the part where I say, stay home.
Yeah.
Believe in what you're worth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't go out for, you're not going to ask John Farnham to come out for less than $500,000. That's just stupid.
Yeah.
He ain't going to do it. You can't ask Daryl Braithwaite, John Stevens. They go out for their prices. That's what they go out for.
So it's sticking to that number. Like, this is what I believe I'm worth, and if I'm not getting this, I'm not even going to show up. And they say like the the power in a negotiation is the ability to walk away.
100%. I like that.
And with your level of confidence in which has been built over years of performing, this isn't you don't just make that number up. You've
No, it's not a
earned
flash
it.
in the pan.
Yeah, you've earned
and
it.
again, when you say earn it, I take that lightly because
Yes.
although I've been around a long time, just means that I'm an old bloke. That's what it means. But I've been there and done it.
Yeah.
You know, I've played at nearly every venue there is to play in Melbourne, Victoria, and country New South Wales, and you know, even up to Queensland, and you know, back in the early days. So I think a lot of bands really need, because I believe the cover band scene is getting healthier. That's what I believe.
And what are those things that you're noticing that are making it, that appear to make it
Well,
healthier?
more so the crowds. So
Ah,
crowds are
okay.
turning up to more venues.
Yes.
The right venue.
Yeah.
This here is the right venue. This is going to be. I'm not saying that lightly. I mean this with my heart and soul.
Thank you.
This is the next level. This is what we as the Trimmers, not the George Trimmer band, the Trimmers. This is what we experienced back in the 80s. This is the same venue.
Wow.
Same lighting, same production.
Yeah.
It means a lot to be able to walk into a venue that's, you know, I'm looking at 6 monitors across the stage here, and I'm looking at a drum fill there. I'm seeing a large amp rack over there.
Yeah.
This is 80s.
Yeah.
This to me is an 80s venue. And people love that. It's all coming back. So all the original bands that made it through the 80s that are still going to today. Like I said to you earlier, I work with Mike Brady a lot. To me is an icon, an Australian icon. I mean, he rode up there Gazali and One Day September, and the guy gets involved in the MCG every year for football. And, you know, I get to work with these guys and all these other guys, Craig Newman, all these beautiful guys that I absolutely love, part of the Farnham band, and because I love John Farnham. But I get to hang around with these guys like a bad smell. That's my passion.
Yeah.
So when I see someone, when I met Craig for the first time, Craig Newman, I was so intimidated because he's the ultimate bass player.
Yeah.
But he's human, like you and I.
Yes.
And I've asked him, would you fill in with the George Trimmer band? He goes, mate, 100%.
Wow.
Here's my number, call me. Mike Brady, another one, says, next time you're playing, I'm coming down and singing with you. So, you know, not to be a name dropper, these are my personal friends. They're not name dropping, it's personal friends. So when you can ask these guys to be a part of something that you are believe so strongly in, which I do with the George Trimmer band, and thanks to the people that follow us, that have been following me personally for 39 years, they're still here. Some of them come...
Loyal fans, very loyal.
Sometimes you'll be doing a gig, like we were at Shepparton 2 weeks ago at the Aussie Hotel in Shepparton. Sorry, we're at Mulwala Ski Club.
Yep.
And there was these girls dancing at the front of the band, and when we'd finished the second set, these girls walked up to us, they were my age, and they go, oh, wow, we used to come and see you guys at Flight Deck in 1985. And I go, you're kidding me?
No way.
Well, I couldn't remember them, obviously. I can't remember everybody,
a
but
while ago.
that's the greatest feeling ever.
Yeah.
That's where it hits you and you go, oh, wow, it's all worth it.
Yes. Oh, I wanted to ask that. What are the things that you're like, this little thing, this is why I keep doing it? Is it because of like the fans? You're like, you've stuck around for this long.
It is the
knows?
fans.
Yeah.
100%. Again, I've been blessed to have a lot of close friends. There's a difference between friends and acquaintances. And I like to think that however many friends I have on Facebook are friends. They're not acquaintances. Sure, there's acquaintances because I don't know them. You know, you add random people on Facebook, but if they're adding you, means they've either come to see the band or they know you. That's the only way it's going to happen, or through my Headstone business, however it works. But they're loyal. When we came here and played here, our first gig at Pockets, we had people from Flight Deck.
No way.
They were here in their droves. Like we walked in and it took me like 20 minutes to get to the stage because I'm hugging and kissing every single person.
Awesome. Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't change with me, whether you're man or woman, I don't care. I got no gay tendencies for a starter. I couldn't care less what you do. So
Bad time to
hug and
drink
kiss
water.
everybody. Well, the thing is, it's an interesting subject because my poor wife has put up with this for 39 years of me kissing every woman, and it's my job. But beyond the job, they're my friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't have a problem. I don't discriminate anybody, male or female. I don't care who you are.
Beautiful.
And most of my friends know that.
Yeah.
You know, some people get a bit annoyed with it if I give them a kiss on the head. I'm talking to my mates.
Yeah.
You know, you kiss them on the head or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
It's part of being who I am.
Yeah.
And again, like I said before, I annoy people. I know that. But I can't stop that.
Yes. You got to live true
because
to yourself.
it's the passion.
Yes, passion. Yeah, 100%.
So when something doesn't go my way, that's my bad trait, I get angry. Like everybody else. Unfortunately, I don't know how to hold that anger. Maybe I need anger management issues. I don't know, I'm just kidding.
Along with the singing classes?
Yeah, well, along with them as well, and no smoking classes and everything else.
No
But
smoking classes.
yeah, like my poor wife's put up with a lot over the years of 30. Well, I've been with her since she was 18, and she just turned, I don't know if I should tell you that, but 56. But anyway, been with her a long time, and yeah, poor bugger's put up with a lot. But she knows it's my job. It's my passion. I don't stop her doing anything she wants to do. That's why we've got a great relationship and lasted this long.
Wow. Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Oh, cool.
My sister sings. My sister Laura, she's a singer.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, she's singing in a lot of bands. She comes up and sings with us. She'll probably get up and sing with us next time we're here.
Yeah, fantastic.
My poor brother, he can sing a little bit, but he's got no timing. So if this is the
worst.
timing, he'll be...
Polyrhythm. Polyrhythm.
He used to always get up and sing when we used to do all these old songs going to parties.
Yeah.
They called them old ditties. You don't know what they are, but
No, not a clue.
they were dirty old... Like, if you're seeing... what's his name? Rodney Rood.
Okay, yeah.
Or any of these people, these comedians, they were singing these songs. So we used to sing them with the swearing in it, and everyone used to get a laugh out of it. It doesn't work these days because we're in trouble these days. You can't say anything anymore, and you've got to be careful what you say.
I wanted to ask that actually. Obviously, being in the industry for so long, you keep talking about the golden days, the 80s, the 90s. And first of all, it means a lot to the Pockets band. You know, we are the new kids on the block. So letting everyone know that we're starting to bring that energy back from the golden era.
Yep.
What have you seen your fans evolve like? You've seen the music industry evolve. We've talked about, you know, how maybe song selection has changed and that. But what about your fans? Have you seen your fans evolve along with your band? Or is it just they're still the exact same as they were in terms of passion?
Well, obviously, most of them have had kids, and got married, and some have moved away. But most of my close friends, you know, for whatever, how many that is, when I can rely on them. If I know I'm doing a gig, like a debut gig I did here, they come in their droves. Apart from us all getting older, but most of them haven't changed.
Yeah, that passion is still there. They still love music.
And even, I'm talking like in appearance, they're still the same people. You know, some of us have put on weight, some of us have got skinnier, whatever it is. They're still those same people.
Fantastic.
And with the same attitude of what, when I loved them back in the 80s, I still love them into the 2000s. It's, again, they're passionate about it too, but their priorities have changed because obviously when you're in your 60s, you don't just have kids, you've now got grandkids.
Yeah.
So I'm yet to have grandkids, hopefully soon, but everyone says to me all the time, you know, you're going to stop going out. Like if I'm home on a Friday night, I don't have a gig, which is a rarity, and I come down here and see a band that's playing here, they say to me, oh, you won't do that when you've got grandkids, you want to spend that time with your grandkids. I probably will, but I think I still have that passion. I still like going out to see other bands and support them. And again, that's probably something, when that stops, that might be a sign. They're all little signs you've got to look for. And I've had it. Like I said, I've retired 5 times and come back.
Yeah, I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Do you think you ever see yourself just laying back, like, I'm done,
Nah,
I'm done with the game?
not a chance.
Yeah, because you tried it 5 times and you just keep coming back. It is very infectious, music and creating just a vibe, energy.
Everything becomes a passion. For whatever you do, like I bought a Harley Davidson 17 years ago, and that became my passion. It still is a passion, but I never get to ride it. But riding my Harley is no difference to jumping up here on stage. Again, it's something I love to do.
Yeah.
I'm a bit more cautious on that thing because I don't want to die, but...
A little bit higher stakes.
Yeah. So all these things that you do, and it doesn't matter, like we've had a round of pool before, and I said, yeah, I sucked you in, I'm a pretty good pool player.
I'm shocked.
I didn't want to say anything.
I'm shocked. I'm new.
Again, they're passions.
Yeah.
So all the things that you grew up with as a passion, I've still taken all that on board to today. You know, my brother used to kick my backside playing pool, and then I started kicking his backside. I don't know who'd win now because we don't play, but my dad's still got our old original slate-based billiard table at home.
Sick.
That's got all our old records and CDs and cassettes on it.
Cool. And then that's how you grew up with like listening to music. Did you go to much live music when you were younger, or was it a lot
heaps.
of? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And what was the best performances you've ever seen live?
Oh, Farnham.
Farnham.
Yeah, that's the John Farnham band.
Yeah,
When it was a John Farnham band, probably followed by, I was a big Sherbet fan, Daryl Braithwaite. So I was seeing them when they were called the Sherbs when they come back from America, and then I've seen a lot of bands, you know, a lot of original bands back in the day, and then because I started working with all cover bands, you know, from 1981. I had a passion for cover bands, and most of the cover bands, because the Australian music industry was so popular back then, everyone was playing Aussie songs, and I think that mentality has rubbed onto me to today. Hence why, if you look at the GTB song list, it's probably 80% Aussie.
Yeah.
So if we wanted to do an Aussie band, for argument's sake, we could do it.
Yeah.
If someone wants a band for Australia Day and they go, we want all Aussie songs, we can do that standing on our head, rather than doing international artists.
Yeah.
Which, you know, we still do the international stuff, but I don't know, I just find it annoys Simon, my guitarist, because he doesn't want to do Aussie stuff. He wants to, you know, he grew up in the 80s, so he wants to be doing, he loves Steve Vai and, and Eddie Van Halen, all these guys. We can't do those songs because you can't, A, dance to it.
Yep.
You can't sing to it.
Yep.
It's out.
It's just a different style
gone.
of everything, yeah. You reckon?
Well, you can't, if you can't do, unless you go into a place that's playing heavy music.
Specifically for, yeah.
Like the Pockets brand's been set up now to have live music and then to have a DJ on,
Yeah.
which is a great concept.
Yeah.
So people that are at the front of the stage, this is what I took note of at my first gig here, they didn't leave.
Yes, because we have the live performances, we have a couple of breaks between the sets, and then we've had the DJ come on right afterwards.
Yeah, it
and
worked perfect.
Yeah,
It
it
was a
keeps
treat.
people here. Yeah.
So
of
you
course.
get whatever we give him, as in the way of Aussie music and a few other songs, and then all of a sudden the DJ comes out and does what he does.
Yeah.
And he'll know what the people want to hear.
Yes,
He's already worked that out from the band.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what band you have playing here, you'll work that out. So you know if you're going to have an AC/DC tribute band here, you're not playing AC/DC straight away.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah, of course. One thing that I've noticed, like talking with you, is that you're a master of sustainability, right? You've sustained yourself in this industry, which can be quite cutthroat, and also your marriage.
Yes.
I want to talk a little bit more. I want to get to know you a little bit more outside of music.
Yeah.
How long have you been married for, if you don't mind me asking?
Got married in '94, actually.
Fantastic. And what is the secret?
Talking to your wife.
Okay. Does singing help?
No. Look, the thing is, I just said this to a guy, I won't name who it is, but I had a bit of a D&M with a guy the other day. And, you know, I've been through a fair bit of trauma with fan-based trauma back in the 80s and 90s.
Wow, okay.
You know, I won't go into it, but things that were said to my wife that were nasty. And the thing is, as I said to my mate the other day, be honest. Sit there with your wife and tell her what's on your mind. Ask her what's on her mind. Again, I told you I piss a lot of people off. I know that. I accept that. 100% I accept it. It's on me. I annoy my wife, but we talk about it. So what is it that's annoying? It's the way you say things. It's your attitude. You're always in the studio. You're doing this. You're not spending any time with me. All right, well, I'll change that.
Yeah.
That's the secret. Talk about it. Fix it. If it can't be fixed, well, then you've got a problem. Fortunately for me, everything's fixable.
Yeah.
I try and fix everything.
Yeah.
You try and do the best that you can. And again, you can't please everybody all the time. And especially when you're as passionate as I am, and I think I speak for my singer Steve, he's got the same drive as me. We've been, you know, singing together for 39 years and had the same agency for 39 years.
Yeah.
So the only thing that's changed is, you know, Steve used to look after the band back in the early 90s, being an agent, but then Steve doesn't like to wear the GTB or the Yesterday's Heroes cap. When he walks into a venue, he becomes GTB.
Yeah.
If he's going in without the band, then he becomes Australian Entertainment Services.
Yeah.
That's what he does. So he doesn't, a lot of people used to, and I need to say this because this needs to be said. When we started 8 years ago, the gig was given to us at Pascoe Vale Hotel to have our debut performance, which we sold out. Well, not sold out, it wasn't a ticketed event, but it was choppers.
Packed. Yeah.
Packed.
Packed.
Thanks to Paul at Australian Entertainment Services. So he organised that. And Steve never ever, I said to Steve, don't you book this band because people are going to say, oh, what? Because Steve sings in this band, which he's done for 39 years, apart from coming and going.
Yeah.
He doesn't book the band. Paul books the band, or Peter Velasco was booking the band, the owner of Australian Entertainment Services. It doesn't matter whether it's Uptempo Entertainment at Craig Simons or Alex Hell or Graham McKee or Phil Gallotta at Westside Talent. Jeff at Tasman Talent, all these agencies I've worked through my whole life, they're all good friends. Unfortunately, poor old Graham passed away. He was a great mate of mine, but all these people look after you. So
Yeah.
if you're doing the right thing, you'll always get looked after. Which takes me back again now to the question that you asked me
Yeah.
earlier that I sort of didn't answer. But the cover scene, I believe, is getting better and better. And audiences are getting greater and greater.
Yeah.
And
that's
the
really
trick
good
to it is, it's not a longevity thing because I can't really answer that, even though I've been doing it for a long time. But there's people that have been doing it as long as me, still doing it. The trick is to, I think, be, well, passion for a starter, be loyal to your friends.
Yes.
Because the friends are the people that will support you,
Yes.
that will come to your gigs when you need them most. So, you know, if you're doing a debut gig here, of course you want your friends to be here.
Course,
And they did.
Yeah.
But I can't ask my friends that live on the northern side of town to come and support me in Beaumaris.
Yeah, of course.
It ain't happening.
Yeah.
Because now they're older.
Yeah.
They've got grandkids.
Commitments, other things. Yeah.
Everything
life
that
gets
goes
in the
with
way,
it.
absolutely.
So that's the key. That is actually what needs to happen
Yeah.
in this industry. You need to hang on to your friends
Yeah.
tightly.
Loyalty.
Yeah,
Loyalty goes
like
a very long
they
way.
are friends.
Yes.
They're not acquaintances.
Correct.
There's a big difference. Huge.
Yeah. No, that's fascinating.
That's what it's all about.
I think that authentic nature of yourself also probably helps people to find that, hey, I know who this guy really is, so I can trust them, and that's where you can build those more honest relationships. I got one last question.
Yep.
We'll probably wrap things up, but I just really want to know, I know that when it comes to working hard and sustained creativity, you need a way to be able to sleep at night. You need to be able to turn the brain off, and something I struggle with is like just staying up, thinking about things. And I wanted to ask, you've been in the game for a while. Do you have a process of turning your brain off and just sleeping and being able to unwind?
No.
Nah, it's still there?
I'm the world's worst sleeper.
Me too.
Bad. So
Yeah.
I've discovered melatonin MRs.
Yes.
Because I'm allowed to now.
Yes.
But before that, it was sleeping tablets. I just don't turn off.
Yeah.
Especially if you know you've done a gig
Yeah.
and you got a gig the next day. I can't switch off. Or again, I'll go back to the funny part about me making a lot of mistakes on stage, which the boys expect it now. It's not. It just happens. I think about that. It plays on my mind. And then I'm starting to think about, all right, I've got to do this on Monday. I've got to build someone's headstone, or I've got to see. My mind never switches off. It just keeps rolling.
Yeah.
The only time I switch off is when I'm in Bali, which I'll be
That explains it.
at approximately 11 p.m. next Monday.
Fantastic.
I will be having my first pina colada, I reckon, and I will switch off for 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's too easy.
Done.
Yeah. Okay, so it's like sort of physically leaving the environment that
Have
helps you just turn that off, and that's what it
Yeah.
is. So you have dedicated periods of very hard work. You're playing Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, whenever. You're just playing for 7 days in a row, and then you'll have like 3 weeks where you're off to Bali and you're living that life. So it's just like creating that environment and then going to the extreme ends of either working or relaxing. Is that it?
That's it, 100%. You nailed it.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I just can't wind down.
Yes.
There's always something. It doesn't matter. Look, everyone's got the same thing as me. Some people just learn to manage it. I can't. And I think when I look back at it, it's funny you should bring that up. When I look back, I've never been one to be able to switch off because I like things to be done in a certain way. It's like rolling up a lead. I have a system. Most people that are in the industry know that you go under and you go over.
Yeah.
And God bless all the people that want to help you pack up at the end of the night, but no.
I have a system.
Yeah, no. Thank you, but no.
Yes.
Because then I got to go home because I've got, what is it? Not ADHD. OCD.
Yeah.
I've got to then pull every
Meticulous
lead out, 60
organisation.
leads,
Yeah.
and I roll them all and then tape them all up.
Yep.
That's what I do.
The George way.
It's the George way. And again, people don't like that. But if you want to help or you want to come and work with me, because a lot of people work with me and for me, I'm kind to everybody.
Definitely.
But the thing is, I just want it done my way.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Unfortunately.
Too easy. Well, thanks for being on our first episode. That was
My
really
absolute
fantastic.
pleasure.
I do appreciate like the honesty and the openness. It was great. I certainly gained a lot for it. And you'll be back at Pockets in a little bit.
October the 19th, I
There
believe.
you go. Yeah, we'll throw up a few posters
Yeah.
and we see you then.
We
Thank you
can't
so
wait.
much.
OJ, pleasure, mate.
Pleasure meeting you. Take
you.
care. See ya.